Hi, I'm Tori and I run Educate and Agitate, the page that you might be watching this on. Okay, so I am doing a vlog, a video diary of my week, this week for Mental Health Awareness Week. The first episode of this week I discussed my story and my experience with mental health. I then went on to discuss the symptoms that I suffer from with depression, anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder. And then the third episode I discussed mental health medication. So this episode I'm going to be focusing on alternative therapy methods. So alternative methods to medication or things that can run alongside medication. So one of the things that I was put forward for was a referral to the mental health team. This was through my GP. So this was after quite a few visits to my GP. Unfortunately, because I was at university and I moved quite a few different times, I didn't have consistency in doctor. So that would be one thing that I would advise against if possible. Obviously I know it's difficult, but consistency in your GP can really help, because even though obviously a doctor will have your notes on a screen in front of them, it's not the same as building that rapport with a person and being comfortable speaking about things and knowing that you can speak about things, because it does get difficult and to open up again and again and again, and you don't want to feel like you're repeating yourself to different people. So consistency in doctor is something that I would definitely recommend. But yeah, as part of my visits to the GP, I was finally referred to the mental health team, and in that then given a evaluation, I suppose, with a mental health specialist, who then asked me some questions, asked what I wanted to get from the mental health team, and then I was put forward for a therapist for one-on-one sessions. It was 6 sessions over 6 weeks, and to be honest, I found it was a bit of a tick box exercise. It felt as if, oh, we've done our bit, we've done our little bit, we've ticked that person off, we've given them medication and we've spoken to them, they've had some therapy sessions, and we're done. I did get a few little things out of the therapy sessions, one of which was my need to control, and that I recognised actually then from a lot of scenarios that actually, I do have a need to control. And by having this need to control, ultimately all I was doing was setting myself up to fail, because by having control of something, I was thinking that, if I can have this, if I can control this, if I can do this, if I can put all these in place, then nothing can go wrong. But obviously things can go wrong regardless of how many things you put into place. So I was setting myself up for a fall. It was bound to be a vicious circle. So that was something that I did pick up from the therapy. However, as far as the one-on-one, the 6-week session, it didn't really work for me. A few years down the line, so actually last year when I had a dark episode, I was put forward again to the mental health team, and this time I was referred for cognitive behavioural therapy. This was a group session, so actually I was it was 6 weeks, or was it longer? I can't remember now. It might have been a bit longer, but this time I was in a room full of people, and I had somebody running the session, a mental health specialist running the session. Now this was more of an anonymous thing, so you didn't have to give your name to everybody, you didn't have to interact with everyone. It was more like a classroom session, but it was actually really, really interesting. And at first I was a little bit dubious as to whether that was going to help me, because obviously you're sat in a room and everybody knows that you've got issues with your mental health. But again, that's what we were all there for. We were all in the same boat. There's obviously the thing where you think, oh God, am I going to know somebody? But again, I didn't know anyone, and nothing personal is mentioned, so you don't talk about your issues or why you're there. You don't specify what conditions you suffer from. It is literally a case of going through different ways that your brain processes information, and exercises that you can do in order to combat this. The group itself, I did really enjoy, and I think it was having that point of contact, coming together and having that moment to analyse your thoughts and analyse common thought processes that really, really benefited me. And I wish I could have it once a week, every week. Not necessarily once a week, every week, forever. You know, maybe slowly bring it down, but I really feel that these type of contact groups and these mindfulness groups are really, really beneficial. And if they were more common, if there were more of them around, then it would help so many people. So this is part of mindfulness. These exercises are part of mindfulness. You can get books on them. You can get CDs and things like that, and I think there's even YouTube tutorials. It's a lot of breathing exercises, but the one thing that I got out of it, as a busy person, somebody who is quite impatient, as I've already said, is the app Buddhify. Buddhify is something that I'd never heard of before. It's a free app to download on your phone, and it basically is a meditative therapy. And what it does is you open up the app and there's a circle, and it's got different things that you feel or could be doing without the day. So it could be feeling emotional, or it could be at work, could be feeling stressed. And then you click on that section, and then there'll be several more sections that open up. And what it'll do is you can click on one of them, and they will just talk you through how to combat or how to work through those emotions and work through how you were feeling. One that I found really, really good was the one with difficulty to sleep. The first time I ever listened to it, I don't think I got all the way through it because I was gone. So Buddhify, very, very helpful. It's Buddify, and honestly, I can't recommend it enough. So other things I've discovered that have helped me through the way, from picking it up from reading articles and seeing bits in magazines, is things like listening to classical music. Sounds really weird, but if you think about it, when you listen to music, when you listen to like chart music or whatever, everybody's had that moment where, you know, there's that meme, isn't it, where you listen to like a really sad song and you're just driving through and you just think you're in a music video and you start thinking of all these like really sad things and getting really serious. And that is so true, because I so do that. So by listening to classical music, a lot of if you literally Classic FM has most of the music has no lyrics, so it's a calming thing. It allows your mind to sort of just create nice pictures. It's a really strange sensation. But I went for about a year, I think, of only listening to classical FM, you know, and it just cheers you up, and it calms you, and you're not thinking of these like dramatic stories. You know, there's no lyrics to evoke or connect or bring back memories. It's just the music. So classical music, honestly guys, it sounds really weird, but I was 22 when I discovered it, and I just thought, this is the bees. Another thing that I found quite helpful was yoga. Now, I always looked at yoga and I thought, oh my god, that looks really, really hard. But I actually started going to yoga last year, and I found it really, really helpful. I don't know whether it's an age thing as you start to get a little bit older, but the moments of calm and stillness, and the way that your body moves in yoga, yeah, it is hard, I can't lie, but when you're able to hold a position and you're able to get to that moment of stillness and the meditative part, it really, really does help. If you notice, there's a lot of calming things that help me. I'm quite a busy, hyperactive, mile-a-minute person, so for me, anything that's calming, soothing, massaging, you know, low lighting, reading books, all those type of things, they really, really help my type of depression and anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. These are called coping mechanisms. You know, something that I learned was that I fall asleep with the TV on. I can't deal with silence. So even though I like calm and peace, in the day-to-day, I actually don't like silence. I like to hear noises outside. So something that I actually used to do in uni when I was feeling a bit homesick, I used to fall asleep to Bridget Jones. I don't know why, but Bridget Jones, I actually wore my disc out. I used to fall asleep to that every night, and just having those because obviously it's quite a happy film, it's a comedy, having that going on in the background stopped my mind from running a mile a minute, so it stopped me from overthinking things. So I was just listening to the words, and I was able to fall asleep. So things like that are actually quite helpful for me. Having happy films, comedies, cartoons, if you like Disney, cartoons from your childhood is a good one. You know, whether you've had a positive or a negative childhood, you often have cartoons that bring back happy memories, because you were able to, those were the times where you were young, and, you know, whatever was going on around you, you had these cartoons and you had these like fun figures, and they bring back that sense of nostalgia. So, you know, I love watching things like the Pink Panther. For me, that is a cartoon that I used to watch as a child, and Tom and Jerry and those type of things. So yeah, watching cartoons and a lot of comedy films, just to brighten life up and just make life a little bit more sunshine and rainbows. Most important one, guys, talking. Honestly, I talk, and I talk a lot, and I talk about loads of different things, but when it comes to my mental health, I'm always reserved, because I don't want people to just look at me and just think mental health, depression, anxiety. But as I've realised, and even by doing these videos, the response has been amazing, and I am helping people just by talking about things that happen to me all the time, because it happens to other people, and people are going, that happens to me. I've never heard anybody say that, and it's because people don't talk about it. You know, the amount of people who I've spoken to, and, you know, when I tell them how I feel and tell them, you know, the thoughts that go through my mind, they go, oh my God, me too. So honestly, you know, it doesn't have to be that you talk about it all the time. You know, I have a very understanding partner, and mental health is something that's always been talked about in my family. Not necessarily anything's ever been proactively done about it, just because of the stigma, but it is something that I've always been aware of. So you know, telling my mother, or telling a friend, you know, and if they don't receive it well, and, you know, they feel that they need to take a, you know, they can't quite understand what you're going through, then, you know, that's fine, and don't feel disheartened by that, because, you know, some people won't understand it, and it will be difficult for them to take. That doesn't mean that, you know, they're a bad person, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It just means that they don't understand it, and that's fine. But definitely talking. There are phone lines that you can ring, which I'll put under the video. I've never rung any of them, because I've never felt that would help me personally. I know a lot of people that this does help, and there's the crisis line, there's the Samaritans, and you know, they have training, and they're just somebody to talk to. You know, if you would prefer to talk to somebody anonymously, do it. You know, there's absolutely no reason why you should feel that you can't. And then hopefully by talking to somebody anonymously, you will then build up the courage to talk to somebody who you do know, because all it's about is just letting it out, and they might not understand, or they might not feel the same feelings that you felt previously, but some people do. And as I've posted on this page, I've seen loads of people go, oh my God, yeah, no, I got that. I've had private messages, text messages, you know, I've experienced this, or I've done this, or yeah, no, that sounds really familiar. I can relate to that. So the major important one is talking, guys. Professionally, talking to GPs, talking to mental health specialists, talking to friends, talking to family, and talking to trusted people, talking to mental health phone lines, you know, writing your feelings down as well. Just get it out there, because you can't keep it inside. It'll poison your mind. You know, you've got so much going on, and you're dealing with it so well. So just let it out. Okay guys, so that's the end of this video. There are loads of methods and different things that I can talk about. If there's anything that I've missed out, or anything that you would like me to mention, please just drop me a message or comment. I will try and incorporate that into tomorrow's video.